And Chris Talgo in from one of my favorite restaurants in the world all of a sudden. Certainly in America, just recently named one of the top 100 restaurants in America by OpenTable, the Tailor and the Cook.
Good morning, Bill.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us about that first before we get into what we're going to talk about here.
Well, so OpenTable is an online reservation service that we use. Yeah, it's a fantastic service, and actually, when we made the decision to use it, we were the first restaurant in Utica.
Yeah.
With the exception of some of the restaurants at Turning Stone that were using it, and I was actually outvoted by Chris and my wife Melissa. They said it was a good investment. I thought it was going to be, you know,
you have to pay to be involved.
Oh, you definitely have to pay.
Yeah,
it's a service that you pay a pretty premium price for, but they outvoted me 2-1. It was probably the smartest decision we've ever made for our business.
So when people come to town, they go on the app. And you look for great places to eat, and you guys end up popping up. And can they make a reservation through the app?
Absolutely.
Yeah, really cool.
Right through your cell phone, right through our website.
And what that means, though, is a commitment from the restaurant. Because we all love the internet, and we've seen it happen with many local restaurants who try to do things on the internet. They do them, and then the traffic isn't huge, so you don't pay attention to it, and it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
You can't let that happen.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It is a commitment, and monetary, and we wanted it so that it could help us to book reservations.
Right.
I never had any idea how much marketing and advertising there was really built into it. Wow. So there's a lot for the price that you pay that you get along with the booking and the reservation.
So now when we say there are only a few here, now that has grown certainly around here.
A couple, and I really hope it grows more, because it really is an awesome service.
But you go across the country and
in other metropolitan areas for sure.
Yep. So, and you guys were named one of the top 100 in the country. That's pretty big.
Humbling. There's 21,000 restaurants on OpenTable.
Just pull that mic and angle it if you could right there.
How's that?
21,000.
21,000 restaurants.
That's pretty big.
That we were picked one of the top 100.
Well, I'm a huge fan of your restaurant, as you know, and I would say, and just for those that have not been to your place, the deal is right off the bat, you know that it does well, because it's not easy to always get in. You got to call, you make a reservation. Very important to make reservations at your restaurant.
Yeah, you can walk in on weeknights and oftentimes get a table, especially later in the evening, but weekends fill up really fast.
Pretty quickly.
Yep.
So talk about the cuisine. You guys use a lot of local products, and it's very creative.
Well, it's farm to table, so we're procuring products from as many local producers as we possibly can. Doesn't mean it's 100%. But we're working really hard to develop relationships with local farmers, whether it be for protein and meats or cheeses, produce. And in the height of the summertime, when produce is coming in, about 85% of our perishable inventory is local product.
Wow, that is huge. How is hydroponics done? It looked like it was going to be very promising. Is it still, are they still doing well? Are you able to still get stuff in the middle of the winter?
Absolutely. Well, our salad greens are grown hydroponically by Little Farm out in Clinton, 3 Gulp Farm.
Wow.
Hydroponics and non-traditional agriculture is important, especially in central New York when you don't have 4 seasons of growing. So, to be able to source products from different methods of agriculture is really important. Hydroponics and aquaculture.
Pretty awesome. It takes away that disadvantage that we have of the growing season. So you're able to grow all year long. Chris Talgo, Tim Hardiman in studio from the Tailor and the Cook. You guys have done a great job in rebuilding that Bag Square area. You're a big part of that. And now you're going to delve into something else, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, we have a French-style bakery on the way. We hope to be open in just a few months.
Nice. And that's just going to be a couple doors down from you guys.
Yeah, right? Just a few doors down. We really believe in that area.
Is that what's going on over there? I was down there for SantaCon, and there's work on there's the lot next to Nail Creek, and then...
Oh, no. This is in Bag Square.
Oh, in Bag Square, okay.
It's right below the Thinkubator.
Okay.
MVCC's Thinkubator.
So the Tailor and the Cook is is 94 Genesee Street, and the bakery Utica Bread is going to be 106. So just
Nice.
4 doors
Nice.
up towards
And
the
so when you say a French bakery, explain what that means. We see a lot of Italian bakeries around here.
There's a lot of great Italian bread in
That's true,
Utica.
yeah.
That's something we don't need any more of. Not because it's not
there's
fantastic,
great
but
stuff
because
out
we
there,
need something
yeah.
else. And so we're gonna focus on baguette and croissant and you know a real European
I love the
pigeonholing.
concept. Love
Oh,
it,
absolutely.
love it,
I
love
think
it.
that French kind of pigeonholes us, but European
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And we just installed a really mammoth oven in there at 106 Genesee Street, and so it's starting to feel real.
You know, you're raising the eyebrows of the Bosnian population right now because they, you know, they're very well familiar.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
I think it's going to be huge.
I think so too. I think people are really going to be interested in the quality of bread that we're going to be putting out, and it's exciting. You know, we're also going to have a little light breakfast and lunch. And a lot of retail, you know, for some of these great local farms and cheeses and things that we have, we'll offer them
Yeah.
retail there.
And what will it be called? What's the name of it? The
Utica Bread.
Utica Bread. Pretty easy right there.
Yep.
Can't forget that.
Cannot
We
forget
don't.
that.
We will. We'll be up and running with Twitter and Facebook and probably a website here in the next month or so.
All right. So you're thinking a couple of months it'll be open. And how far will this go? And in the beginning, you're just going to serve out of. I mean, will there be? Will you be able to get this in the stores down the road?
We're not really looking at distribution into
Yeah.
supermarkets. We're hoping that people will make Bag Square their destination, come down
Yeah.
to the bakery to pick up, and who knows? I mean, but the business plan right now is just in store.
Nice. I'm really excited about it.
We are too.
One correction there, we do have a Twitter account right now.
Oh, we do.
Oh,
have
you
a
do.
Twitter.
You're already up with that.
Sorry.
At Utica Bread.
At Utica Bread, so you can tweet that out right now. Really excited. So maybe by February, Valentine's time would be a perfect time to be a little romance. with
Let's just say
Chris
spring. How about spring?
Springtime, all right. I don't want to push it too fast. So. All right, gentlemen, it's awesome. Now tell us also what you brought in. You brought in a few.
We brought some fantastic desserts from the Tailor and the Cook, and I should give a great plug here to Steve Arbogast, who's our sous chef at the Tailor and the Cook, and he's going to be moving over to run the bakery at Utica Bread. So
Nice.
we've got a chocolate chess tart with orange curd and toasted black walnuts. We've got our famous Jones Family Farm cheesecake with roasted pineapple, and
Jones,
we've got
no, that's down the
Herkimer. Yep, down your way. They're
Great
great
cheese,
people.
yeah.
Great
Great
cheese.
people, too.
It's really easy to make a good cheesecake if you start with really good
Yeah.
cheese. And then lastly is coconut panna cotta with gingerbread and lime jelly.
I love your place.
Thank
I
you.
really do. It's really it's great to have it here.
It is, and
Really awesome.
we're really trying hard to put a little spotlight on Utica too. It's not just about us; it's about all the other businesses down there too.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen, and quickly, if you could, tell a little story, because you mentioned Nail Creek, and where the confusion came in is I was just telling these guys the Nail Creek story the other day. This whole concept kind of started out of Varick Street, didn't it?
Yeah, you got to give props to Chris on that, so I'll let you take that.
Well, I think pretty
It's
much.
a great story. It really is.
Well, I don't know which part of the story, but when
I'll let you
I
take
opened up Nail Creek, essentially there was no craft beer bar in the area, so we thought that it could work. It worked in big cities, and then that same kind of model with the Tailor and the Cook, there was no local food restaurant. So again, we figured that we could fill that niche, and now with the bakery, we're hoping to fill that European-style bakery niche.
I think the best part of the story, though, is Chris and I have been friends for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
And when Chris bought the property that is now Nail Creek on
Yeah.
Varick Street, we were on Varick Street drinking at the electric company, and he said, "I want to show you the house I just bought." And we walked over to 720 Varick,
I unscrewed the boards from the door.
and we crawled in, and I told him he was out of his mind. And I continued to tell him that for a couple of years while
Yeah.
he renovated the space, and he was not out of his mind. So when he approached me and Melissa to talk about a restaurant in Bank Square, I told him he was out of his mind. Nobody wants to come to Bank Square,
Right,
and
right.
Peepers, and
Well, first there was the old Tom and Jackie's.
oh yeah, we were going to look at Tom and Jackie's first. That was a bad idea. And Melissa said, "You should really listen to him. Remember that story about Nail Creek and how
Yeah,
you thought
yeah.
he was crazy?" And so Chris can see these buildings, and he has a vision for
It's
them.
kind of like what I have with my wife. I'm the dreamer, and she's the realist. So the number of times she said to me, "That's stupid," is I can't even count the number of times. So clearly, Chris is the dreamer, and Tim serves as the realist. But it all works out.
It works out well.
The story that I wanted you to tell is the story. So those are all great stories that I haven't heard yet. But I like the story about how you decided to do the restaurant, and that was because you do meals out of Nail Creek, and it began to get so popular. Is that true?
Well, that's part of it. You know, Chris's wife Tracy was doing the food service at Nail Creek, and they were doing just really fantastic with the Wednesday night dinners and
selling out. I mean, you couldn't get the food.
Well, they still do.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday night. That's an awesome dinner. So if you haven't checked that out,
big shout out to Sean Lincoln, our new chef over there. He is phenomenal.
It's a little hidden secret in Utica that enough people know because it sells out.
Well, Sunday brunch too at Nail Creek is awesome.
Nice. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and you can't. It's hard to even get a seat.
I was down there for SantaCon this weekend, and I didn't even know that you guys serve food. And so I got just a chicken panini with the pesto on it, and it was delicious.
I love. Somebody told me a while back, nobody is going to go down to Varick Street to eat. That's just not going to happen. It's just going to be a one night street during the summertime. Who's going to get down there to eat? And if you make it, they will come.
And that's a perception that we're trying to change over there big time.
Yeah.
There are several establishments now that do serve food, and we want to try and promote that a little better.
I love it when somebody tells me that you shouldn't do something like that in Utica, because that's exactly what we want to do.
That's
if somebody says you shouldn't do that, that's what we're going to do.
That's the thing that inspires them.
Yep.
Right?
One more thing, I think another part of the story is that before Nail Creek, and before everything else, we did have a business. It was a hot dog stand on Varick Street called...
So that's where
Come a long
Yeah.
way, guys.
I don't know if you can say the name. You'd have to. Is there a delay on here?
I do have a
Let's
delay.
not test it, though.
we sold a lot of T-shirts. It was called Titties, Wieners, and Buns.
Okay,
So-
I'm assuming. You want me to dump that?
But it won't be dumped on the
The
video.
one word we probably can't say, but I love it.
Well, it's,
I warned you.
It was
At least you had.
I appreciate
had
it.
T-Y
notice.
apostrophe S. So it was-
Okay. I
We'll save that story for
All right.
another one, for another visit.
That
Yeah.
works. You guys are doing a great job in helping bring some great things to Utica. So congratulations, Chris
Thanks a lot,
Talgo,
Bill.
Tim Hardiman, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Utica bread coming. I'll say springtime.
Thanks, Bill.
Sometime in the spring.
Merry
2015.
Got a break. Hold on tight. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.